trials as well, right? We may not be persecuted in such a way, but we may experience certain levels of persecution, the persecution of losing influence because of Jesus Christ, or how it seems as if today so many of the things that we've stood for are under assault, and we're being called all kinds of names and accused of great bigotries because of the Word of God and because of what Jesus has commanded us. So we suffer persecution for that to an extent, but we also suffer the results of our fallen world. We're tempted, aren't we, in many ways. There is still a sin nature that we struggle with each and every day. We're tempted to sin. We're tempted to trust in ourselves. We're tempted to trust in something other than God, and we suffer much brokenness, because of that. And Peter is telling us that these are trials for us, the believers, that we should expect them. He says what? That they are, well, we should note a couple of things. He says if, right? If necessary. This tells us two things. Number one, not everybody's going to suffer the same, or maybe even at all, although it's pretty clear that we should expect suffering. Jesus talked about it all the time, that we should expect it, right? That all will suffer at some point, but we won't all suffer equally. But he also says that it's necessary here, if necessary. That means that there's, and that should point to us, that there's a purpose underneath this, if necessary. Sometimes we wonder, how would a good God allow evil and suffering in the world? Well, for the unbelieving world, it's clear. Sin has broken the world, and our human sinfulness continues to wreak havoc on that world, and many suffer and many die because of the results of the brokenness which we brought into the world. But for the believer who suffers for the name of Christ, I would have you remember that. I'm specifically talking about suffering for the sake of Christ. For the sake of Christ.